Hi everyone, and man, I hope that y'all are having a good December. I hope you've all had a good year. I want to just kind of jump right in today, um, and congratulate all of you. Like I've talked a lot about over the last lots of different weeks, I should say. This month we've been talking about goals, um, and I've been talking a lot about just the attitudes this year and kind of where you're at and the pandemic has influenced all of us and what we've done in our businesses. But I want you to just like congratulate yourself for making it here. You're still um, you're still here. You're still pushing forward. You're still making it happen, and that's important. This has been a rough year. There have been lots of um, accomplishments for some people this year. There's been lots of heartache, lots of grief. Uh, it's not been a it's not been, I think, an easy year for anybody. Um, and some people are not where they thought they'd be at the end of the year. Right? Everybody's like, 2020 is going to be my year. It's going to be different than all the rest. It definitely was different. So I hope you take time to celebrate the accomplishments that you've done, um, and accomplishments maybe that you haven't. Maybe there's some things you put on hold because you're like, maybe I'm not going to do that this year, right? A little bit of discernment. Some things didn't happen because, well, they just couldn't happen this year. So I hope you're celebrating that, right? As we wind this year down, as we look back, it's one of the most important things I always have my clients do is look back to where they were, right? Because if we can't look back and say, hey, where have we come from? Sometimes it gets hard going forward. So take a moment and be like, what happened in 2020? What's the good, the bad, the ugly? And celebrate it. Not all things were bad for everybody. Not all things were good. But as we look back, um, it will help us craft where we're going forward. Right? We've been talking about goals the last few weeks, so that's important to say, hey, where was I and where do I want to go next year? Um, the one thing I want to really talk about today has nothing to do with any of the attitudes, but it's one of the most important things to making money ever. Okay, because when we're in the grind, and a lot of times business, especially new business, feels like a grind because we're just constantly going. Because we got to figure out how to make sales for this month, for next month, or if we're a few months out, how do we make that? And as you get your pipeline up, and as you start having consistent income coming in, it kind of eases out. But still, you're looking in the future to be like, okay, what do I want this next year to look like? And we talked about that last week, right? What do you want yours to do? How much do you want to grow this year? Right. So we always start as business owners. We start getting in that mindset of be like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? We get in that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes it can feel like a repetitive grind over and over and over. So one of the most important things you can do is self care. Take care of yourself. Do something fun. This is a great time of year to do it. Right. It's the end of the year. A lot of people will start winding down. Corporations traditionally do. Now this year it'll be interesting to see what happens. A lot of people who have vacation. I know when I worked in the corporate world, I'd always say vacation for the end of the year, especially that week between Christmas and New Year's, because there's not a lot going on. It's like I'd rather spend time with my family than just sit at work and try to stay busy. It doesn't feel good. Uh, in our businesses, uh, the week between Christmas and New Year's can be an interesting week. It can sometimes I've seen in some other people's businesses they'll push hard that week, and it can be very beneficial to them as people are home and kind of being more attentive. Um, for myself, Debbie and I are trying something new this year. Um, we're basically working through, today's Thursday, so we're working through tomorrow. And then we're basically going to take the last 2 weeks off. You won't see a lot from me online. I got some stuff set up so that you'll see still the newsletter come out, but it's going to look a little different for the last couple of weeks because I want to take time. We had a really good this year. We worked hard, and we're going to um, take it slower the last couple of weeks. Take care of ourselves, relax, because 2021 is going to be a good year for us. We can already tell we've set some things up. You'll see more coming from me this next year. But I want to take time. My body's like, hey, let's just take a break. Let's have some fun. Let's relax. Let's take care of you. Uh, so really taking care of you doesn't fit within any of the attitudes. It doesn't fit within a structure enough to be like, here, this is how it fits in for all the people, the brainiacs out there, right? People are like, how does this fit in, Joe? Well, it doesn't really, as far as the framework goes, as far as the attitudes go. But it's an underlying piece for all of it. Because here's what I know. If you are not feeling well, if you're not firing on all cylinders, if your brain's not functioning the way you want it to function, if it's not sharp and clear, then your business is going to suffer. We're going to start to get desperate and start to scramble for sales. And when we do that, we end up hiring people, we end up working with people that we really don't enjoy. Right? That clarity that we had to be like, here's my ideal client, here's who I'll work with, and here's what my packages look like, and all these things. Because of desperation, we start to say yes to things we should say no to. And then that doesn't feel good. We end up having to fulfill on promises that are going to be not happy making, right? Like, I don't, the words escaped me this morning. It was like, we'll not enjoy it. And when we don't enjoy it, then it's a whole conversation. You'll turn that whole yes into a boundaries conversation about being like, okay, I'm dealing with it. Okay, I'm happy, but it's kind of that boundary zone. And once we cross it, and once you say yes to something you don't want to, then we're in a toleration zone. And then we get frustrated and grumpy with ourselves. We get frustrated and grumpy with the person we're working with. And eventually we hit that burnout zone. Right? Some people burn out. Some people blow up. So do yourself a favor. Take some time off. Let yourself rest. Let yourself enjoy what you can for the last little bit of this year. If it's spending time with your kids, if it's spending time with loved ones in a socially distanced kind of helpful way, right? There's still a pandemic going on. Take care of yourselves. Be safe. But really take care of yourself. Give yourself that time and space. And here's the last piece I want to say about this. I want you to choose into it. Okay, don't just let it happen because you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do, and then just don't do anything. Because then we feel grumpy. We feel angry. Because again, we've not chosen into the experience. So choose into the experience. Choose into taking a break. Choose into taking care of yourself. And when you do that, you're going to find more empowerment in your business. You're going to find more empowerment in your sales. And the money that you're generating and that's coming in. So find that time over this last couple of weeks. It doesn't have to be the whole 2 weeks like Debbie and I. It doesn't have to look like me. But find something that works for you and do it. Because if you don't, you're going to start 2021 kind of tired and a little grumpy. And if you do, you're going to be a little more rested, relaxed, and ready to start kind of just hit the pavement running come January. So, I was going to say some other things, but that's going a little deep. So we'll just stop there. So do something. I want to hear what you're going to do. Okay? So drop it in the comments. Because like I said, for me and Deb, we're going to take the last 2 weeks pretty much off. I mean, there'll be a little bit of work here and there, but we're just going to plan a little bit for next year. But for the most part, we're just going to hang out together. That's the life we're creating, and it's the life I love. So let me know what it is that you're going to do to take care of yourself, to let yourself relax and rest before we start back up in January. So for those who watch live streams, I'm not going to live stream again until January. So this is the last one. Happy holidays. Enjoy this time, and we'll see you next year. Bye.